Welcome to another Flick and the Boz Man show. And Boz, the World Series has ended. The champions are the Braves. And how much of it did you watch?
A couple innings. It was
Couple?
it was entertaining enough. Um, I really didn't watch a ton of it. I did watch a bit of what was game four, I guess. I don't know. Uh, I have to say I was pulling for the Braves, which is very unusual for me as a Mets fan to want their arch rivals to win. But my thinking was this: I wanted teams like the Mets and others, less intelligent and or small market teams, uh, to have somebody that they could look at and say, that's what happens when you go for it.
So you're saying the Mets are stupid?
I didn't say that.
It sounded like that. And you want to be their GM. I don't know if you should insult them like this.
I might have said that.
All right, you might have said that. Well, we have a special guest tonight, and it's someone that somehow defeated you in Beat the Boz.
This is without precedent since last year.
since a week ago.
Yeah.
When you lost to Liam. Well, that was
I meant
technically
for Hillary.
that was technically 2 weeks ago. Yes, it's unprecedented. Until now, it has a press. How many games did you get right there, Hillary?
I think I got 4 right out of 5.
Boz got defeated by a person who submitted 3 selections and then asked what the other 2 games were. So there are grounds for a protest here, Dave.
Ah,
You don't feel like protesting?
no.
All right, we'll get right to the games, and maybe we'll talk about them some as we go through them here. But there was also a bit of a controversy today involving maybe not the poster boy for the NFL, but Aaron Rodgers has to be up there, and I guess he was never vaccinated.
And he seemed to have indicated that he was, which is maybe part of the problem.
That would be part of the problem.
Yeah. So anyway, he's out for Sunday, right? He's done, not playing.
He's out for Sunday, and we'll see if that's one of the games. But we're going to start with your team that suffered a tough defeat on Monday night. Probably an expected one, but I didn't expect it to be so close, and they were right in there. And that's the Giants. They'll be home this week, and they'll be hosting the Raiders.
You want me to go first, or we leave
Well,
it up to the champ
that's
here?
up to the guest. The guest gets to decide on game one if she's going to pick first or have the Boz pick first.
No,
Champ,
I'm going
what
to
do
have
you
the
think?
Boz pick first.
Okay.
Boz is
Right.
going first.
I'm going to take this moment to wax poetic for a second and say Daniel Jones sucks.
That's very
He's
poetic.
just a bad quarterback.
That didn't rhyme or anything.
No, it's free verse. It's free
Oh,
verse.
okay.
It's one of those modern newfangled things. He's, I texted with you a little while ago about this. 538.com, one of my favorite websites, has scores for all the quarterbacks for the quality of play that you could expect from them. And he ranks 5th in the division, which there are only 4 teams in the division.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And just being clear, and he's 30th in the league of 32 teams. And at
That
this
would
point,
seem
I'm just
bad.
done.
You're making
I've
me
seen
do a lot
enough.
of math here.
I've seen enough. He's an okay quarterback. You and I decided he's on the level of a Nick Foles.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm going with Vegas.
That was poetic. So you're going with the Raiders, who they can't drive 55. I suppose I shouldn't joke about that, but
No,
Oh.
that's
it's
That's
kinda
really bad.
tragic event,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
I at this point with what we know, very stupid. And you got to figure a team like the Raiders and an organization like the NFL, and they have to make it easy to call Uber or Lyft or call a friend or something. But when you're when you're not thinking straight, you're not thinking straight. And
Yeah.
terrible thing happened, and I'd be surprised if he ever plays in the NFL again. But
Well, they're talking about jail time for Ruggs, and
yeah,
that
well,
seems highly likely at this point. It'll be interesting to see how the Raiders react to this, on top of the Gruden, whatever you want to call that, firing, resignation after the bye week, uh, and so forth. I think I couldn't even tell you who their interim coach is. I looked it up the other day. It
it's a
didn't take
special
much at
teams
all.
guy, but I don't know his name. No.
Yeah. Whatever. And they played their last couple of games hard. They won games that if they were going to quit, they shouldn't have. They were decent enough teams where if they wanted to roll over, they would have rolled over, and they didn't. So I think they keep that going, even with this bad news. Maybe even partly because of this bad news, they kind of join together a little more and come out here and win on Sunday against the Giants.
Well, what do you think there, champ? Hillary, who you picking here?
Wow. Well, I'm thinking I was reading about the incident that happened, and I just saw that I guess he was driving 156 miles an hour right before he crashed, which is
Yeah.
crazy. It
Yeah.
just seems so reckless and unnecessary. I I know that the Giants have been playing pretty poorly up to this point. However, I'm
Ooh, I
thinking,
sensed a butt was coming, but it was a
yes,
however. How classy.
however, I feel that what's going on with the Raiders is going to be a big enough distraction. I saw that they signed a new player, I guess, in the last 12 hours or whatever to take his place. So I'm actually going to pick the home team on this one. I think that it's going to be too much going on in the background, and it's sort of like what happened in the Super Bowl, right? There was an accident of Andy Reid's sons, whatever. And it just, these things tend to fester. So I'm just thinking they're going to have a lot of other things on their mind other than winning this away game. So I am actually going to pick the home team, New York Giants, on this
All
one.
right, so
All
we
right.
got Hillary going with the Giants, and we got the Bosman going with the Raiders.
And
So
if I
game
may, just
number,
for one more second, Phil,
yeah,
I do want to say the Giants were a lot closer in that game on Monday night than I would have thought as well. I think that says as much about the Chiefs as it says about the Giants, though. The Chiefs have been struggling all
Right.
year to put something together. So that's how I read that. And to Hillary's point, I think the Giants have been underperforming. They've had
Yeah.
one game all year where I haven't seen at least two guys carted off. It's been a tough road for them. So that's
we're,
where we are.
if I could nerd out even more than usual for a minute here, were you watching that game live, Dave?
Uh, Not really. No, I was on tape delay for most of it. But I was.
Oh,
I
well,
finished. I finished. I usually time my watching of the Giants in particular so that I finish when the game is over.
I got a weird point to try to make here, and I haven't heard anybody try to make it during the week, so I'll give it an attempt. The game was tied, and there were about 7 minutes left, I think, and the Giants had the ball.
Yeah.
And I thought their best chance of winning was eat up all the clock, which is tough when you got 7 minutes and the Chiefs still had some timeouts, but eat up all the clock and kick a field goal or score a touchdown with under 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
I thought that was their best chance. So move forward and you get this giant I never heard of picking up a first down and gesturing a first down and picking up a 15-yard penalty,
Yep.
which was silly. But the penalty was after the first down, and it didn't punish them other than backing them up 15 yards.
Right.
It was still 1st and 10. Wasn't 1st and 25. Wasn't second. So if I was rooting for the Giants and my plan was use all the time, I didn't mind.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And I don't. It doesn't sound like you're asking like why did it happen that way? It was a dead ball foul, and it sort of kind of made sense, right? So it was after the play was over. The play had gone far enough that the 15 yards still gave them a first down.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the reasoning was there, but I couldn't be sure. And yeah, I mean, if they could have just continued to hold the ball and move it down the field, that would have been to their advantage.
Here's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was almost wondering, could KC have declined that penalty?
Yeah,
We even saw it in the Super Bowl with one team letting another team score. It happened to the Giants. Just let them score quickly.
Yeah, not with 7 minutes left. I think.
No, I know that's where I got in, but I didn't think the Giants had much chance. I thought this is their chance, score, and that's it. They may not get the ball back and
hold the ball as long as you can and score. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
All right. So obscure, nerdy, just like I said. All right. So second game, and Hillary goes first. We're going to do that rivalry that everyone's talking about: Vikings at Ravens.
This is a rivalry?
Oh, everyone's talking about it.
I didn't. Oh gosh, Vikings at Ravens is a rivalry. Okay.
We may have you doing math later. Right now, you just have to figure out if they're traveling north to south or east to west.
Well, they're traveling east to west, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. So, I know the Ravens are 5-2 now, and the Ravens are pretty tough at home. The Vikings have been a little shaky as of late. I think, let's see, they won. Did they win their last two games, or they?
No, they lost to Dallas.
They lost. I'm sorry, they lost to Dallas, but then they won the week before. Right? Didn't they? Yeah.
I think their last game. They may have had a bye week in there.
Edged the Lions.
For
that.
Yeah. Well, that's right. There was like a missed kick or something. Well, in any case, I don't need to really prolong this too much or analyze it all that much, because I really think the Ravens at home is a must pick. So I will pick the Ravens.
A must pick. It's Hillary's must pick of the week. Ravens. Okay.
Well, about that, but I didn't hear her say that.
I heard must pick. I heard must pick.
Well, I must pick them as well. I'm gonna agree with that. I will say this. I mentioned the 538.com's rankings of quarterbacks. The one thing I just don't understand is why Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback in any ranking. He doesn't win football games. I mean, that's at the end of the day, isn't that part of the equation for a quarterback?
It's part of the equation for everything but pitchers, I've been told.
Exactly. So here's Cousins in his career is 54, 55, and 2.
He could go for that tie record I was referencing before.
There you go. He 6 more and he's got it. I don't know if that's a record, but that's what Charlie number 12 Johnson has. With the Vikings, he is a sterling 28, 25, and 1, which is, I'm sure, why they're paying him the $33 million a year they're paying him to go 3 games over 500. So yeah, I just think the Vikings are thoroughly mediocre, and as Hillary said, the Ravens are tough at home. I think they're going to want to get back for. They had a bye this past week, right? So I
thought they lost to Dallas, and then I thought the Ravens did.
The Ravens, yeah. Their last. What did I say? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong team. Hold on.
Hold the phone.
The Ravens' last game was at the Bengals. Yeah, I was hosting the Bengals 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
and they got blown out.
So they did have a bye last week.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be in their mouth a little. That taste is going to be in their mouth a little bit, and I think they're going to take it out on the Vikings.
So Ravens, and if you don't understand where our experts are coming up with these picks, you can certainly try to beat them. You can email flickbaz@gmail.com or respond on our Twitter. That's at flickbaz. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you could just type your selections, and couple people used the email through it. Really threw me off this week, but I found them eventually, and they didn't win. They didn't win. Hillary won. Still the
Woohoo!
winner. And Dave, you got to do game 3 first, and that's another big rivalry game: the Chargers at the Eagles.
You're gonna do that one, huh? All right, all right. I did not see that one coming. I did pick the game. I for some reason I picked the Eagles. I couldn't really tell you why. Um,
Will he stick with it?
yeah, yeah. The Eagles they dominated the Lions this week, which did actually make me look a little bad because I picked the Lions. That a little bit indefensible at this point. Um, Looking back at the Eagles' schedule, they before that they lost at the Raiders, they lost at the against the Bucks.
I did warn people on Twitter that both
Panthers.
you and our contestant were picking the Lions, who hadn't won a game, and you proved to be as foolhardy as I thought you were being.
So the Eagles' 3 wins are at the Panthers, at the Falcons, and at the Lions. Their losses are not bad losses. They've lost to the 49ers, at the Cowboys, against the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, and at the Raiders. Those are decent teams. So you can't really. I don't think you learn a lot from them, except that from doing that, except that the Eagles are thoroughly mediocre at 3-4. The Chargers continue to vex me. Every time I think Herbert is, great up and coming young quarterback, he goes out and lays an egg. So I'm gonna go off of that horse. I'm gonna not dance with the horse that brought me. Um, and I'm going with Hurts. I'm going with Hurts until it hurts.
Where was the prom in that metaphor?
The prom is jumping off the bridge.
Oh, okay. All right, so you're going with the Eagles. Contestant Hillary, what do you think?
Wow. Well, I was looking at some of as Boz had done. He did some analysis on this game to see how the prior week's performance may sway his mind, who he's picking in this game. So I know that the Chargers, I think they had a pretty strong start this year, and then things sort of slid a little bit in recent weeks. It's really hard for me to pick the Eagles right now. I just feel like they're it's just not feeling like the team is really gelling very much. So I am going to pick the Los Angeles Chargers.
Going with the Chargers. And if that explanation wasn't clear enough for you, you can listen to that back.
Look, I mean, they won. I know that they beat the Chiefs, and I know that the Chiefs have faltered a little this year. So maybe that's not as big as it usually could have been, and maybe last season or the season prior. They also beat the Raiders, right? And then I guess they beat the Browns. So I just feel like the Eagles just aren't playing so well, and I honestly feel like the Chargers are due for the win.
All right. Well, Hillary may be hitting that wine bottle early on a Wednesday night, but she managed to make the pick. So
All right.
We'll move on to the next game, and that's Arizona at the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh wow, this is a tough one. But it shouldn't be all that tough because the Cardinals are 7-1, and the 49ers are 3-4. So I really think that the Cardinals are playing at the top level right now in the NFL. Their loss, I'm not quite sure how much they lost by in their one loss. Do you have that stat, Phil?
I don't keep stats near me.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
I would never do such a thing.
Okay.
They
They
lost to
lost
Green Bay, right?
24-21 to the Green Bay Packers.
I knew who they lost to. That was,
All right.
3-point loss.
Yeah, 3-point loss. So I think it's, as I said, I thought it'd be harder to pick this game, but the more I think about it in this 30 seconds of time you give me to think about it, I am going to pick the Cardinals for the win.
all right. Going with Arizona. Dave, you finding another game to disagree with our guest on, or are you going to go with Hillary here?
No, I'm going to go with Hillary. I think the Cardinals are a good team. Their point differential is the second best in the entire NFL. Coming off a loss, I think they bounce back and get back on the right track here.
So far, just going into our final game, if I have any of these incorrect, let me know. There are some scoring audits that take place long after these are done. So, Dave's got the Raiders, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Cardinals, while our contestant Hillary has the Giants, the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Cardinals. All right, it's the final game, and Dave goes first. The Titans at the Rams.
Yeah, and so this will be the Titans' first game without King Henry.
Yes, it will.
And it may well be their first game with Adrian All Day Peterson.
All Day Peterson. He may be in trivia time too, so
yeah, all right. And it will be the Rams' first game with Von Miller, a trade deadline. So let me pause just for a second and lament the end of Derrick Henry's season. Phil, I think you and I had texted about he was on a pace to be and would easily have been, even if he just was able to make the 16 starts and play passably well. He probably would have been the fourth player in NFL history to win 3 straight rushing titles.
Oh, yeah.
The other 3 are Emmitt Smith, Earl Campbell, and Jim Brown.
He may not get passed for a couple more weeks.
That's right. It'll probably be 2 or 3 at least, right?
Yeah.
That's how big his lead was. You look at those 3 guys that he was on a pace to join, and you go, damn, that is a damn shame. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. That stinks. I don't know that. I think the Titans are still going to be able to play well. They have a good defense. Tannehill is actually a passably good quarterback. I think he's better than Kirk Cousins by a long shot.
Is he better than Matthew Stafford, though?
No, and ultimately, I think with Von Miller making his debut and playing just down the line from Aaron Donald, they've got 2 of the best pass rushers and defenders, defensive linemen in the league now. I think the Rams are obviously all in. They should be psyched to have that kind of impact player on their team now. I think they win this game. Not easily, but I think they do win it.
I'll let you say it. I won't use that term, but would you say they are one of the most likely teams right now to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I would have said that before the trade for Miller. I think they are probably on paper the best team in the NFC right now, and that's saying something. There's some pretty good teams: Cowboys, Packers, Buccaneers, Saints, Cardinals. There's some, there's a lot of teams with 1 or 2 losses that are looking really, really tough. I think the Rams have the most talent, a very, very good coach. I would say they're the pick out of the NFC.
All right, Hillary, you going to take the Rams as well, or are you going with the Titans here?
Well, I am going to take the Rams, and I'll explain why. I know that the Titans, I guess they had won, right? They were on a 4-game winning streak. The Rams were also on a 4-game winning streak, right? So, I mean, look, both teams have been playing well. Obviously, losing Henry is with a foot injury is a serious bump in the road. So I looked back at some of their past performances, and
Oh,
I know
you studied the
these
tapes. That's
well
good.
these so I know these teams don't play each other very often.
Uh-huh.
So and when they have played, that the scoring is usually pretty high. Um, and from what I saw, it seems like the Rams have a uh, higher winning percentage in their 13 matchups, I guess it is total. So I think it'd be hard to pick against the Rams at home. Just like you said, the uh, coaching is top notch. They just seem to have hit their stride, and they've won their last couple games by at least 10 points or close to it. So the games really haven't been all that close.
It seemed like they were up by about 30 last week. I don't know what
Yeah.
ended up happening.
They're up
So
38-0, and then I guess they
Yeah.
took their foot off the
I
gas.
was
yeah.
hoping
So
for a scoregami, but I don't think I got one.
so I'm pretty comfortably picking the Rams here for the win.
All right, just to recap, our contestant has the Giants, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Rams, whereas Boz has the Raiders, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Cardinals, and the Rams. And you can take your shot at beating the Boz. I gave you those emails and ways to contact us, but just get your picks in before the first game starts. We didn't do the Thursday game, which the Jets will get crushed, but just get your picks in before these Sunday games start. And
Now,
yes,
wait just 1 second there.
okay.
You think the Jets will get crushed tomorrow night?
I thought they'd get crushed last week.
Right?
Do I
You
think
got the next greatest thing since sliced bread there at the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not so confident, and I don't really think his uniform or whatever should be going to Canton. Apparently, it is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Colts will beat them up for no reason, but I think the Colts will beat them. Yes.
Yeah, the Colts can definitely go to school on this past week's tape.
Yeah, they
which
did a
the
lot of
Eagles didn't have.
if you play football video games, one thing you can do is run the same play but reverse the formation and run it the other direction. I
Yeah,
noticed the Jets did that about 10 times on Sunday,
yeah.
and the Bengals did not notice that. So that helped.
Well, here's where I think you may be right. The Colts are coming off a tough loss. They're a pretty good team, even though I think they're 3-5, and they're going to be angry and hungry, and I think they're going to want to go out there and play really well, especially on national TV. And the Jets are coming off the Jets' 2 wins on the year. I texted you after the game are against the Titans and the Bengals, who are 2 of the best 3 or 4 teams in the AFC. I don't know what to make of that, but because they've also lost to teams like the Falcons and the Broncos and the Panthers and the Patriots twice. So I think you're right. I think they lose, but it'll be interesting to see what Mike White can be. He was a decent college quarterback. I think he's potentially got some skills that translate to the Jets. Obviously, the coaching staff had him ready to go. I love that they came out and threw like their first 7 passes
And took
plays
the
on
ball
Sunday.
and won the toss and elected to receive.
Yep, and went down and scored their first touchdown on an opening drive of the year.
And they had their first interception of the year.
Yeah,
later in the game.
Yep. So
it would take a lot to go right for them to win tomorrow, but it's a no lose situation. I thought the Jets would win about 5 games. I would still guess about that, and so what? It's not a season. I was expecting great things, and by next year, expectations will be up a little bit higher, and. They have a ton of draft picks. They're the youngest team in the league. I expect pretty good things. And yes, I know it's the Jets, but I expect pretty good things in 2023, 2024. And
yeah, Their biggest job this year is to get Wilson healthy.
Yeah.
And get him back in there and see what you have. And then in the offseason, they need to draft for both lines.
Yes.
Especially the offensive line.
Yes.
And then see what you got.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the Beat the Boz segment, and we'll knock out some quick trivia here, and we'll see. We'll make you allies for this, not enemies. You can help each other with the trivia here. And we mentioned Jorge Soler won the MVP of the World Series, correct?
Correct.
And he was born in Cuba, correct? He became the second Cuban-born person to win a World Series MVP. So I'm starting you off with a nice soft one. Who was that? Who was that first Cuban-born MVP in a World Series?
That was El Duque.
El Duque. I'll accept that answer. El Duque.
Or was it his brother? Hold on a second. It could have been Livan, right?
It could have been.
Or is it Levon?
Could have been.
No, but he didn't win with the Marlins. That was it Beckett or one of those guys. I'll stick with El Duque.
Sticking with El Duque. You going with him or against him here, Hillary?
I don't know. Sorry. El Duque is who?
Fernando Hernandez for the Yankees.
No, I think you had it.
You think Dave's got it under control?
No, I think it was who he said first.
That's who I said first. You like Levon?
Yeah, I think. Gosh, I don't know.
Is she knocking you off your guess here?
You go with your first choice.
My first choice was
his first choice and his third choice were the same person.
Yes.
The middle choice was a slightly different person. Okay, we'll clear that up eventually, but it is one of those three people at least. All right. Question 2, as of 6:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November the 3rd, there's an undefeated and untied team in the NHL, the National Hockey League. Who is that team?
That is your Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Las Vegas, the LVGK. All right. You backing him up on that, Hillary? He sounded confident, but don't let that throw you.
No, don't let that throw you.
He sounded confident. That sounds right.
That sounds right. Las Vegas Golden Knights. All right. Now, I got to give credit where it's due here. This is from an article by Mr. James Fragoza. So I don't want another lawsuit like we have against the Eagles, not the football team, but the band. But he wrote an article saying every team's most likely active player that will make it to the Hall of Fame in the NFL. And I thought his choice for the Baltimore Ravens was an interesting one. And I would like to know who you guys think it is. The most likely current Baltimore Raven that he thinks could make it to the Hall of Fame.
So it's who? What's the guy's name again?
That would be James Fragoza.
James Fragoza. From the Ravens. So I need to not say necessarily who it is, who I think it is, but who he thinks it is.
Yes.
I would be hard pressed to name a lot of Ravens beyond Lamar Jackson, to be honest with you. And I don't remember if they have certain like veterans that were signed from other teams. Like a wide receiver or a linebacker or something from somebody else.
It's a classic Bosman stall here.
I noticed.
Yeah. The way you ask the question, it can't possibly be Lamar Jackson, which really puts me at a disadvantage because I don't know who else they have on the team.
Right. It seems too obvious that it would be Lamar.
Oh, you know
So,
who it could be, which would be weird, is the kicker. Was it Stover? Is that the
Oh.
guy that hit the 66
oh,
yarder?
because he got the field.
Stover was a kicker for Baltimore about 12
Yeah,
years
20
ago.
years ago, not Stover. Who's the guy they have now? The kicker for Baltimore. That's your answer.
The kicker for Baltimore, I don't know if the judges are going to accept such a thing, but kicker for Baltimore.
It's Tucker. Yeah.
Tucker.
Well, there you
Tucker.
go.
Tucker from Baltimore. Thanks, Liam.
I didn't
Tucker.
even know it.
No, it's not. I remembered his name, Justin Tucker. I remember. I know something. Jeez.
Jeez. There's no cursing on this show.
Okay.
We don't
Jeez.
we don't take the Lord's name in vain on this on the Flick and the Bosman.
I
All
said
right, question 4. Adrian Peterson was mentioned earlier on the show.
Yes.
And he is a top 10 rusher all time, but I need to be more specific. Where does he rank on the all-time NFL rushing list?
Well, Emmett's one. I think Barry and Emmett, Frank Gore is up there. Interestingly, and this is another classic stall, I believe Gore has exactly 15,000 yards rushing.
I think it's exactly 16,000.
16, sorry, which Adrian Monk would love.
He'd prefer 10,000, but yes.
He would prefer 10. 10 would have been better. I'm going to say he is 6th.
6th. Okay.
It's a strange and random question, but there you go.
It's the way I operate. I'm strange and random.
I'm going to
What?
I'm going to half Dave's guess and say 3.
At least you did the math right. 3. If you can't make fun of a family member, who can you make fun of? All right. Question 5 of 6. Not a great week of college football ahead of us. There were some good games last week, I thought. There is only one matchup this week featuring 2 top 25 teams. All I want you to do for trivia time is name either of those teams.
Do I get 2 choices?
You get one and the guest gets one.
I don't even know who's playing each. I have not looked at all at the schedule this week. The
schedule is weak overall.
I'm going to say Wake Forest.
Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons.
Yes.
Wake Forest.
Give my brother's alma mater a shout out.
I like it. Hillary?
It's just saying. So you're saying a top ranked team.
A top 25 team.
Yes.
There's only one matchup where both teams are ranked in the top 25. And I'm just saying name either of them that are playing against each other this week.
I'm going to say Michigan.
Michigan.
I don't even know if they're in the top 25.
Yeah. They are. They didn't go down that much by losing to Michigan State, right?
No. They were in the top 25. They're still in the top 25.
They were top 10, right? They were like 8 or something.
Well, that's what I mean. Last week had some great games. That was like
6.
That was like 5 versus 8 or something. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
At least I picked the team.
You picked a reasonable
criteria.
You picked a reasonable wrong guess. I like it. All right, Michigan. Got it. It was no better or worse or more or less correct than Wake Forest. So we'll stick with that. All right, question 6. On this date in 1918, a future Hall of Fame pitcher was born. He ended up throwing 3 no-hitters and even won the American League Triple Crown for pitching in 1940 and lived until 2010. So this person born in 1918 made it all the way to 2010 and had a distinguished Hall of Fame pitching career. Who was that gentleman?
Rapid Robert.
That's a solid guess.
Bob Feller.
Bob
scoring at home.
Bob Feller. So if you at home are listening to these questions going, those two don't know anything, I'm going to submit my answers. Just remember the questions were Jorge Soler, Cuban-born World Series MVP. There's only one other. Who is it? Who's the only undefeated, untied team in the NHL currently? Who's the most likely Baltimore Ravens current player who could end up in the Hall of Fame? Adrian Peterson is back in the NFL, most likely this week. Where does he rank all time in rushing? And then there's only one matchup of college football that features two teams, both in the top 25. Name one of those teams. If you want to name both to show off, go ahead. But we have guesses of Wake Forest and Michigan. And then what Hall of Fame pitcher was born on this date? That's November the 3rd in 1918. And the only guess I wrote down was Bob Feller. I thank you both for participating. Dave, as always, and Hillary, the first time this year, but maybe you'll be back as defending champ, and that would be pretty cool. But thanks for doing it this week.
Thanks, Hillary.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thanks for having me, and I look forward to another victory this year.
Oh, boy.